right, nerds, happy Sunday and welcome to our final chat of the year. We're going to be talking all things bookish reads of 2023. I'm sure we're going to delve into some other things media-wise we've enjoyed as well. Oh, and there is Erin. So I'll just pop her in. But to kick things off, we are going through, so the opening question is, what was your first read of 2023? And then what, based on kind of how your reading is going, do you think your last read of 2023 is going to be? So we will start with Megan because she feels prepared.
Okay. My first read of 2023 was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. And kind of hard to guess my last read. I'm trying to cruise through those like Goodreads choice horror books. So I think my last read of the year is probably going to be either My Darling Girl by Jennifer McMahon, or a much longer one that its length intimidates me a little, but would feel really good to close out the year on, is The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. That one looks really good, but it is a 20-hour audiobook, so it's a bigger commitment, but I am really excited to read it. So
let's go to Leah.
My first read was Into the Riverlands by Nevo. It's a novella fantasy. And then, I have like big goals for finishing out the year with a lot of books, but
Dream big.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with Two Wrongs Make a Right as my last read. I've got like 15 books on my list.
Emma, how about you?
My first read of the year was The Royal Companion by Tanya Bird, which was not a strong start to my reading year.
No.
I gave it 2 stars. I had to look back and I was like, oh yeah, that book. As for last book, I have a lot of stuff in progress right now, or like holds that have come in from the library. So like, it's anybody's game. It's a toss up. My optimistic like prediction would be like, oh yeah, I'll finish The Two Towers by the end of the year. Probably not that likely, but
reading. We're not. Are we even currently reading it anymore?
Yeah, exactly. So that's my optimistic one. Realistic would probably be like one of the audiobooks that I have from the library right now, which I have like 3. It would probably end up being Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have a feeling that's probably what I'll end up ending on.
And Erin, how about you?
You guys are much more organized than I am. My reading is just chaos. I don't keep track of anything, but I do very distinctly remember, surprising no one, that I reread Gideon the Ninth at the beginning of this year.
You like that?
I know. It's a plot twist for sure. I think my last one will probably be at the rate at which I'm reading, which has not been great this year. My last one will probably be Legends and Latte by Travis Baldree. It's really good so far, but it's like a cozy fantasy, so it's like slower, and I'm just like really taking my time with it, and I am enjoying it. So
yeah.
I
enjoyed like savoring that one, like just little
slices
of life every now and then.
Yeah, it's like like returning to like old friends every once in a while is what it feels like. I mean, it's in the name, the cozy fantasy, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
There's another one now, right? Travis Baldree has another.
Yes. Yeah. My last book might be Bookshops and Bone Dust.
Oh. So. Bookshops feature in the next one. Sold.
And then my first book of the year was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh.
I keep seeing that everywhere.
It was definitely a bigger year for anything nonfiction for me, so that was interesting. And Griswold says The Weight of Blood was so good, and My Darling Girl would be a great Christmas horror to end the holiday season with.
Is it
4 stars. Vanessa is actually rereading Gideon at the moment as well. I'd half expected Erin's last book of the year to be, and I am rereading Gideon the Ninth.
It might be full circle. He's so cute. Or Harrow,
bookend the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Valerie says Bookshops and Bone Dust is really good, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to finish off, like I have a few in progress, so if I make some progress on those. I think I'm going to finish either tonight or tomorrow Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, which is a very cozy murder extravaganza. So it's been fun. Just got to keep chugging along. Hope the holidays don't slow things down.
Yeah. I can never tell. Sometimes the holidays just everything grinds to a halt, and sometimes it's like, look at all this time I have. I'm going to read so much. So we'll see what it's like this year.
Yeah. How did everyone do? If you had a Goodreads goal, how'd it go?
Very well. Very well.
My goal was 52 and I'm at 31.
Nice.
My goal was 52 and I'm at 20, so my goal is now 26.
Nice. My goal was 52 and I am at 46. I'm 3 books behind, but I really think I can do it.
Yeah.
I've got a couple like short like celebrity memoirs and I can tear through those. Like the Britney Spears one is like a 5.5 hour audiobook on one speed. So
I mentioned this one last week while you were away. A Short Stay in Hell, is that what it was called? It's a really it's a novella length. And I read it in a sitting. A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. And it's the Library of Babel story retold of one version of hell that this an ex-Mormon guy happens to end up in. Is you're in a library of infinite possibilities, like every possible smashing of the keyboards.
You don't have to sell me anymore. You've already said my keyword that gets me to read a book. So.
But you have to find your book in a book of not just all the books, but all of the combinations of letters and punctuation.
Oh, interesting.
It was really good. So in terms of short books, absolutely.
It's
not an audiobook on Scribd, but there's the ebook, and I read it on my phone because it was so fast.
If anyone mentions a book, put it in the chat so that I can try to compile these after the fact.
Got Helen in the comments. Hello, friend.
Helen.
I set a very reasonable goal for myself of 60 books, and I am at 115 right now.
Whoa.
Overachieving in 2023. That is
Wow.
Apparently. And with also not even counting grad school readings. I'm like, what was that?
That's wild. You were in grad school this year.
Well done.
Yeah. Just not wanting to deal with reality. So just escaping the 2 books.
The year I didn't want to deal with reality, I soared into the hundreds.
Yeah, I have a few shorter romance novel audiobooks that holds have come in. So I have 18 minutes left in Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. So I'm definitely gonna finish that one. And then I have Kiss Her Once for Me and Love Light Farms, which are both Christmas.
Kiss Her Once for Me.
Yeah.
Love Light Farms.
Ooh, interesting.
I DNF'd that one.
Yeah, good to know. And then I have, like I mentioned, Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. My hold just because I didn't finish it originally, so the hold just came in again. So this time I have to finish it.
I think last Christmas I read a bunch of Christmas romances. Here's my red list. Goodreads. This is why I'm not actually organized. Goodreads does it all for me, or else I would not remember a single book that I've read this year.
Valerie also overachieving. Goal is 100. So far, I've read 139.
Nice.
That is incredible. I'm just feeling optimistic that I'm back on an upswing of next year I'll have read more books.
I really like what Andrew says. If buying books counts, I reached my goal, but I didn't read enough for my goal. Yes. I'm so right there with you.
I think buying the book counts for half of a book. So you have to buy double for it to count.
Right.
It does count.
I like your logic. Yes.
Last Christmas, I read In the Event of Love by Courtney Kay and You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince by Timothy Janowski. And both of those were very fun. Christmas rom-coms. In the Event of Love in particular felt very like Schitt's Creaky to me.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
that sounds good.
Short books. I'm listening to Monstrilio right now, which was one of the horror choices on the Goodreads Choice Awards. It is weird. I'm enjoying it, but it is like weird. This woman's son dies, and she just like, in her grief, cuts him open and removes part of his lung.
Ooh.
And there's like a magic realism element to it where she like feeds the lung and now it is coming to life and turning into a monster, but grief metaphor, so she's like loving it because it was her son, and
Wow.
it's very trippy, and it's different from what I would normally pick up, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
Speaking of short and trippy, one of the books I finished this week was Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, which I've been meaning to read for a long time.
I like the movie.
I've always meant to read
And
that.
it was, I heard it was like fairly different from the movie, so I liked the movie as well. Checked it out. It was good. Like it was, I guess like just reading it feels more coherent than like trying to see something like that in a movie. Like it felt easier to follow, but still definitely weird. But I will definitely be continuing with the series. Although I was disappointed that like the books 2 and 3 audiobooks are twice as long as the first one. I liked how quick this was, but
I just realized how short the Murderbot books are, and I'm like, maybe I'll read a bunch
Yeah,
of those
they're
before the end of the
good.
year.
and they're so much fun. One of my current reads is like the first one that's actually a full book.
Yeah.
So,
My dad, who is not a big reader at all, he's retired now, and he asked me for a book rec, and so I recommended the first Murderbot Diaries. I was like, it's short, it's sci-fi, you like sci-fi TV shows, so you should like it. And he read it and he liked it, so I was like, win.
yeah.
Yes.
And like Murderbot sounds so intense, but like the character is like a former security android, person computer, but like loves television, and just the monologue in his head is always just like comparing things to TV shows and wishing he could just be binging TV shows. And it's
Me.
adorable. Valerie says Murderbot is hands down my favorite sci-fi.
Oh.
I still haven't read that series yet. I keep having people tell me I need to. So
Feels
I
like it'd
mean,
be something.
most of them, like she said, are pretty short, so.
And you'll know pretty quickly if the tone is something you enjoy.
is it like kind of dry and sarcastic, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah?
Oh,
yeah,
these humans are idiots, kind of.
I can get behind that.
I did finish reading The September House last night. It was so good. I also recommended it to my mom, and she read it and loved it.
Oh, nice.
High praise. If she doesn't like a book, she will not finish it. And she has a couple favorite genres that she pretty religiously sticks to, but she like tore through that one, so that was exciting.
Nice.
It was definitely my fastest read of the year, and it wasn't like a super short book. It was like regular length.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of like, okay, if I ask them if they have a favorite book of the year, I'm gonna have to come up with one, and so I think that would probably have been mine. But it's so recent that I don't know if I've just forgotten.
I know. Yeah. It was just really fun, and it creeped me out, which does not happen often in like horror books. Although it had this in common with Rouge by Mona Awad, and I'm realizing I think just words being wrong or being in the wrong place is something that unsettles my brain for some reason. Because she like leaves the house and she hears people saying things that the ghosts are saying in the house, and it's such an effective horror element for me, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, the mix of tone of like this was like such a fun horror while also still being creepy was like, oh
yeah. Because she's just
should
so
the horror
like,
genre be trying to be more fun? I don't know.
I think so. Because she's so like, well, the walls are bleeding. It's September. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
oh, but my daughter's coming and she's not going to like that. She's going to have a problem with the walls bleeding. Like,
Highly, highly recommend.
yeah. And towards the end, it did such a good job of making me doubt what was really going on. I was like, Kelly knows this one trope that I hate, and I don't think she would have recommended it to me if it was that trope. But yeah, it was great.
So if nothing else, you could all rest assured that it was not gentrification all along.
No.
What was that? Like 2 books in a row that
I
we
had
read.
2 books in a row.
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
Like, the real ghost was gentrification, which those books are great. There's a place for them. Just don't market them to me as a ghost story.
Yeah.
I just finished reading a book today that it was a long book, and as I was reading, I was like, could this have been edited down? But by the time I got to the end, I was like, nah, I think it works the way it does. But it's called Homecoming by Kate Morton, and it follows like a storyline in Australia in 1959 and then in 2018. And so like it follows basically this horrific crime that happened on Christmas Eve in Australia in 1959. And then in 2018, it follows a woman who's going back to visit her grandmother who has like this weird connection with the crime. So it reads like kind of like a true crime aspect because like that's what the character is experiencing of like being like, oh, there's this connection I have with what happened. But obviously it's fictionalized. But what I found really interesting was that the author kept mentioning the Somerton Man. I don't know if any of you have watched the BuzzFeed Unsolved true crime series, but the Somerton Man was one of their cases that they talked about as like an unsolved case in Australia. And so I went out of curiosity back to look at the video for it because I was like, hadn't watched it in a while, to find out that they solved that mystery. They discovered who the Somerton Man was. And they solved other mysteries. So I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that was really interesting.
I'm curious, did anyone have like genres that reigned, or did you do a pretty good job balancing the genres?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because I feel like the last few years I've been like really heavy on the romance. But then I feel like by this year, like I started to kind of feel like a tiny bit burnt out on it, just like reading because I think romance is so tropey and has a lot of like specific conventions in the storytelling that it can get really easy to be like, okay, I've read the same plot points a lot of times. But this year I think what was really interesting and kind of fun for me is that I read like some older fantasy, like some more classic fantasy. So I reread The Fellowship of the Ring because of watching Rings of Power last year. I got like really excited about Lord of the Rings again. So I like reread that. I finally finished the second Game of Thrones book. And I read the first 2 books in Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy.
How did you like those?
I really loved the second one. The first one I enjoyed, but it felt like it took a while to get anywhere. The second one I loved, and I'm really excited to read the third book.
Okay, let me know when you read the third book what you think.
Okay.
I had thoughts on the series. I will. But the Mad Ship series is my absolute favorite.
It's
so
really
good.
Yeah. I'm excited to just have like so many books to read, having started that. So I'm excited to like explore more of that, and then also like go back into reading like some new fantasy because I feel like it's been a couple years since I've like really delved into newer fantasy novels. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I think I've noticed something a little similar with romance too. I don't quite feel burnout on the tropes and stuff, but I hadn't read any romance before like a couple years ago. And so there was this whole world of romance in the exact type that I liked.
Yeah.
Like just the right level of funny and heat and like cliches that worked for me. But that number got like way lower by this year because I'd read so much of it.
I think that's a lot of what happened. For me, I'm really picky about voice and romance. I think that's the big thing for me. It's hard for me to find, like, there's a lot that I like the tropes that are in it, but I struggle with the voice. And so it's finding that like perfect voice for me.
Yeah.
Difficult.
I read a bunch of horror. I think this is probably my biggest horror year of all time. So that's cool. I didn't realize just how many, but I opened the year with a horror novel and I'm going to close it with one.
I read almost half of what I've read is fantasy, but I will say I read more horror this year than I've read in previous years. So
Yeah, this year was big on horror for me as well. Megan, was it this year as well that you read The Writing Retreat? That was one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I really like that. Anything to do with writers in general, but then The Writing Retreat was like extra messed up and very strange.
Nicole just said, I finished Your Lonely Nights Are Over by Adam's House last week. It's a YA horror, 5 stars. I have not heard nearly enough about this book. When I finished it, I was like, I need a TV series now. And I was just gonna like, I read 2 YA books this year, and like I didn't read a ton of books, so but like, and like one of them was rereading Bitter Blue. So
the only YA I read this year was going back and rereading the Queen's Thief series, and then like finally reading the last 2 books. That was the only thing.
I read Family of Liars by E. Lockhart, which is a prequel to
We Were Liars.
We Were Liars. I'm like, one of us is lying. Somebody's lying. We Were Liars. And like, it wasn't as good. And like, I don't even think it was my 3rd book this year, so it was a while ago. I can't even remember if she tried to do a twist again, but like the tone was good. It was still a pretty quick, fun read.
Yeah, I read I think 5 or 6 YAs this year. Horrors. I read everything that's out in a graphic novel series that I think is YA called Something Is Killing the Children. And it was very creepy and good. And I'm excited to read more. So.
My top nonfiction this year, and what I would definitely recommend to everybody, especially another fast read and on Scribd/Everend, Humans, A Brief History of How We Fucked It All Up, which is just like, it feels like it was read by like John Oliver or Douglas Adams, like very like tongue-in-cheek British of just like, here's a history of some of humanity's greatest screw-ups. And then, so we finished reading that one in the car and I've started the same author's next book, Truth, A Brief History of Bullshit. So it's been a lot of fun.
excellent titles.
Yes. I'm pulling it up now. A 6.5-hour audiobook. Fantastic. I think I read, this year I read What My Bones Know, which was a hard nonfiction read, but it was really good. So definitely.
What's it about?
It's about like processing trauma and stuff. And it's framed through like the lens of the author's own experience with it. And then like going on to study it. It was really good. But definitely one to read when you're in an okay headspace for that kind of material.
Yeah.
Does anyone know? I feel like this year in particular, before the Goodreads Choice Awards goal, I didn't keep up a ton with like new releases for the year. So I'm curious, does anyone know, like, have their finger on the pulse of what's coming out in the next year?
I'm excited for a few like follow-ups of like duologies or series extending. Like I read both Little Thieves and Painted Devils this year, YA fantasy, and the 3rd book is coming out in 2024. Let's see what else. Oh, I liked that Self-Same Metal, another YA fantasy Shakespeare retelling with a black bisexual main character who has magic and also does the choreographs the fights in the plays. So it was a fun read, and the 2nd book I think comes out in April. Those are 2 on my radar.
pull up a list.
Oh, and I think the next book what's the first book's name? Iron Widow, the second book,
Oh.
I think comes out in 2024. Obviously, I read a lot of fantasy because all 3 of my recs are fantasy.
My hope is, or one of my reading goals for next year is to read a little bit more fantasy. I feel like I've read a lot more horror this year and I'm loving that. I want to integrate like 1 or 2 big proper fantasy novels.
Yeah.
There's so many, but I get so intimidated by the length because I just feel like I got so into the like you got to read it fast, and if you don't read it in 1 or 2 sittings, then you got to quit, and you just can't do that with a fantasy.
Yeah. And I find I have to, with like fantasy audiobooks, I do have to slow down the playback speed. I can't do as fast as I can with like a contemporary.
Yeah, fantasy is one of the few that I think I would rather read the physical book.
Yeah.
I think for most of mine, that's the way I did it. Like, I think I only have 1 or 2 on my list this year that were audio and were fantasy.
Unless it's something like Lord of the Rings, which I already...
Sure.
I'm not going to have a hard time keeping up with the characters in Lord of the Rings, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, next year's a big year for me and Emma. We're coming of age as hobbits next year. So, gonna watch all the movies, read all the books.
Nice.
Make a big old charcuterie board.
Heck yeah.
We got a bunch of comments I've missed. Oh, we've got a lot of love for the writing retreat in the comments. Nicole said, I just checked my hold list at the library. I've got sequels for What Moves the Dead, The Atlas 6, and Emily Wilde. I forgot that there's another What Moves the Dead book coming out.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, I'll be curious to hear
Yeah.
thoughts.
I was
Horror
pretty...
cool. Just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do more, I guess.
Pretty surprised to see that what's it called? House with Good Bones. It was like really high up in the Goodreads winners. I want to say it was like 3rd after Stephen King. Oh, it was 3rd after Stephen King and Grady Hendrix. That was cool.
That is cool. I liked that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this is making me realize that it really was just my year for horror. And I think that's just going to continue on into next year too, because that's all I want to read right now, honestly.
Yes.
Aside from the literal cozy fantasy I'm reading, which is not at all a horror. I don't know what that's about. It's either cozy, no plot, like all the good feelings, or just like nasty, horrific stuff. Yeah, no in between.
You should read The September House.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I do want to. Okay.
It was so like gruesome, but then funny too.
Yeah, like the tone was just so unexpected.
She's like, oh, the little girl with her legs are burned to crisps and she just crawls out of the fireplaces. But you know, if we just don't light the fires, then she's much happier.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna have to read that.
Just realized I'm muted. I flipped over to my TBR on Goodreads and realized I do have at least one 2024 book on there. Olivia Dade's new book, At First Spite, is coming out next year.
Oh, yeah.
For that.
Did you see that she announced a zombie rom-com.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She got a zombie rom-com book deal that also has vampires in it, which made me so like, I DM'd Kyra. I was like, all year I've been saying, I have a vampire book and my next idea is a zombie book, and those are unsellable.
Aha.
Now Date has sold both. She is much more successful than I probably ever will be.
Nonsense.
But yeah, it's like a thriller romance, kind of in the vein of like The Lost City is the vibe I got, where her and her vampire neighbor have to team up to survive and on an impending zombie apocalypse. So
Nice.
It sounds like fun.
yeah. Didn't she say
Found
that
another-
First Fight is her like smuttiest book yet? She
Oh.
said it has like way more spite. I think it was that one.
Hmm.
And I was like, your other books have not had a lack of
Yeah.
spite. Are the erotic? Like,
She did show some print work that like I think Lenny Kaufman, who does a lot of the illustrated
the bathtub
covers,
one? Yeah.
and I was like, this is a gorgeous print.
Yeah.
I have more 2024 books on here. I'm realizing books that I just didn't realize weren't out yet. Don't want you like a best friend by Emma
yeah.
R. Albin.
Oh, I love any book with a Taylor Swift lyric.
Yeah.
in the
And it's like
title.
it's a queer Victorian romance. So I'm really
Yeah.
into that. And it's like two girls trying to like set up their widowed parents. I'm very excited.
Ooh.
And When Grumpy Met Sunshine by Charlotte Stein.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one.
The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. I love that cover.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I am
yeah.
excited for that one.
And then So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole.
Yes.
It's like a Joan of Arc retelling.
Hmm.
All right. Other media 2023. What did we love? What
Excellent.
was disappointing?
Let's go. The Power was my biggest TV letdown of the year. We tried to watch that one together and it had a lot of potential.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest.
I don't even remember how many episodes we got through. Was it like 3 or 4?
I think
Too many.
Yeah, we should have given up sooner, honestly. But you just, with a premise like that, you hope it'll pick up. Gotta pull up my. I didn't keep track of TV, but I kept track of like all the games and movies and stuff that I consumed.
I have not yet finished it because I'm playing it with a friend, but Baldur's Gate 3 has been a lot of fun.
Ooh, I want to buy that one whenever it goes on sale finally.
Just waiting for it to be free with PlayStation Plus, which will be
know.
another like 2 years. I'm
I
like
don't
always
like-
playing old games because of that.
Yeah, I don't like D&D enough to know that I'll love that $70 worth.
Mhm.
To be fair, I had no D&D experience and still enjoy the game.
That's good.
Granted, my friend is doing the controls. I'm just making the decisions conversation-wise.
Definitely a big highlight for me was Tears of the Kingdom. I'm
Ooh,
still riding
yes.
that high. It was funny because PlayStation released their like PlayStation Wrap-Up for the year, and it shows like for every month like what was your top game that month, and it was like May, June, July. It was like you played nothing on the PlayStation. I was like, oh, I wonder what was going on. That was so fun.
Yeah.
It was like you played 5 hours or something, like that was it for the whole month.
Yeah, my PlayStation hours were way down. I think part of it was Tears of the Kingdom. I also started playing Stardew Valley. But then on the PlayStation, I played through The Last of Us Parts 1 and 2, which are not games that I can play in front of my 5-year-old. And so they're also, my husband gets scared and leaves the room when I'm playing those games. He doesn't like the screams. So they were games that I had to just wait until everyone was asleep to play. They're also not really games you want to play too late.
When everyone is asleep.
Yeah, my like adrenaline gets up and then I can't sleep for hours.
Yeah.
But they were so good. I loved both of those games.
I'd forgotten that the Last of Us TV show was this year. Like that feels like a
That was this
Yeah, it
year?
feels like very long ago.
Early this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch, that hurts me.
it's like right at the beginning.
Yeah. Feels like a long time ago.
I loved that show though. It was the reason I don't know that I would have played the games for a long time if it weren't for the show. And I'm really glad I did because I loved the games.
TV wise, Fall of the House of Ushers feels like the other.
I was gonna say House of Usher. I still need to watch 2 episodes or something, but
The last episode is so good.
So good.
I'm watching more tonight with dinner. But yeah, I'm really, really hooked on it. So good.
I wish I'd kept a list.
Yeah, I like kept a list, but I was not good at keeping it updated. I just realized I haven't even updated it for the last few months of the year. But I have really liked Silo on Apple TV.
I still need to watch that.
Really good.
Oh yeah, Silo was good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got Yellow Jacket season 2 this year.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Shrinking. I watched Shrinking this year at the beginning of the
Shrinking
year.
was so much fun.
Oh, I did love Shrinking.
Misty Kate said, I've been Shadow and Bone recently and then it got canceled on cliffhanger. I really enjoyed the show.
Yep.
I still need to finish Loki. I
only watched the first episode.
I started that again.
Yeah. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and I liked them. It came out the same week as Our Flag Means Death, and so I watched 2 episodes of Loki afterwards and just like went back. I was like, I'm not mentally ready for this.
I have like a love-hate relationship with time travel. So Loki is like really tough for me at times.
Yeah.
Like I love Loki so much, but the time travel. Don't do this to my brain.
Oh yeah, the Red, White, and Royal Blue movie came out this year.
Yeah.
Andrew said, which was my personality for a month and over hiatus. I want to watch Fellow Travelers. I did love Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah.
Oh.
I also, this movie's really old, but I finally watched Ready or Not. And it was so good. It's that like the bride meets her husband's eccentric rich family, and she like draws a card and they have to play hide and seek, and it turns out the family's hunting her for sport.
Sure.
Oh.
As one does.
I've seen people reference it like all the time as just classic horror. It's campy, it's creepy, it's thriller. But I had never watched it. And there were several movies like that this year that I was like, okay, gotta watch. I watched that. I watched Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yeah.
Barbarian.
I still need to see that. People keep telling me to watch Barbarian.
I really liked Barbarian.
So there were a ton that I wanted to watch around like Halloween time, and then instead I rewatched all of the Mike Flanagan shows and didn't have time for anything else. I was like, next year I'm going to watch other things.
And then you'll just watch Mike Flanagan shows.
Next year will be Mike Flanagan again. Yeah.
I did like, I feel like the last couple years I've just watched whichever one was new and then like Hill House. But this year I rewatched all of them. Usually I have more time for other things.
Misty Kate says enjoyed 3rd season of Only Murders in the Building. That is such a good show.
That was a lot of fun.
I so enjoyed that show.
I liked the new season of What We Do in the Shadows. I feel like some of the more recent seasons have been like sometimes rocky. Like some episodes I like more than others. But I still distinctly remember in this new season the like TV channel episode, like where they get featured on the news. Like we could not, like, we were just crying laughing. Like it
Yeah.
felt like early seasons, What We Do in the Shadows, and it was just so good. And I was like, this is what we love about this show.
I also loved the one where Guillermo sprains his ankle and Nadja takes him to the pet place the pet place that keeps
Wants to,
trying
like,
to put
put him
him down.
Forgot about that.
I also I watched the movie Next Exit this year. It might have released like late last year, but it has Rahul Kohli in it, and I love his work. I think he's a great actor. He was so good in it, and it was like a weird, like thought-provoking horror, but I really enjoyed it. It was great. It was scarier than I was expecting it to be. So
Oh, it's not just Rahul Kohli.
it's also that one gal who's in all of them, but I didn't realize was in all of them.
That one gal.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, I did
she's
not.
one of the stars of the new one.
Yeah, and I did not. It took me a while to figure out who she was in Hill House. I'm like, oh,
She's Poppy.
very
in Hill
different
House.
vibe.
Yeah. But yeah, in the Fall of the House of Usher, she plays the oldest male usher's wife in the past.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Roger
So
Usher.
she's the co-lead in Next Exit, and they were fantastic together.
I don't remember who it was or even what the project was, but it's fun seeing like Rahul Kohli on TikTok, and he was talking about someone else, and like, oh, when I see him next, like they talk about each other like they're just coworkers who are going to keep running into each other at other projects forever now. Oh, we just work together full time. It's I have a forever acting gig. Thanks.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I love seeing him talk about how he worked. The guy who played Dupin, like the older version of him, was in iZombie with Raoul.
Oh.
And yeah,
So the younger version.
Was it the younger version?
Yeah.
That was the older version.
The older version guy is from Alias. The younger version guy
the younger version was in iZombie, yeah. And he was like talking about how like he was like one of the highlights of iZombie was working with him. Like he was just an incredible person to work with. And so when they were casting for the Fall of the House of Usher and he like found out about the role, he was like, you should get this guy. He was great. And it's just like, I like seeing like, like actors be like, I really liked working with this person. Like bring them into this like family.
Yeah.
Family.
Very like off genre for Weirders, but my husband and I started watching The Rookie, which is just like a network TV cop show. Nathan Fillion, but Nathan Fillion comes from like Joss Whedon shows, and like the amount of just like random characters in one-off episodes that are just like Joss Whedon, and like I swear, Joss shows and Veronica Mars must have a similar casting agent because they always picked up the same people, and they're suddenly popping up on The Rookie. I'm like, oh, I guess that person is still working with all of these people. It's kind of fun. I've gotten to yell Cylon once already, which is my Battlestar Galactica. There's like some people who are secret Cylons, so seeing them show up in other things. It's the same guy who was also the bad guy in the past in Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's been in The Rookie, which was fun.
He was in something I'd seen as well, but I can't remember what now.
Speaking of police procedurals, I finally watched the last season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine this year. Put it off for so long. Like we just forgot to watch it when it first came out, and then I just like other things were like priority because they were newer, and so finally I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, I was so sad about Andre passing away.
Yeah.
Very, very sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he wasn't that old, was he?
It was like
No, like
62.
only 61.
Wow.
Quite
Exactly. Yeah. That's surprising.
And so soon after Matthew Perry, just Missy Kate says, I need to see the Poker Face series by Ryan Johnson.
I love Poker Face.
I've heard very good things. I've also heard good things.
I loved it.
I did not update it past like January, but I did have a tab for TV shows in my spreadsheet. I watched Bad Sisters this year on Apple TV Plus,
me
and I
too.
really liked that one.
So that wasn't on my list, but if you watched it this year, that means I watched it this year.
Yeah. I also watched Servant on Apple TV Plus. Early this year was big Apple TV Plus. Did not do it for me. The first season was horrific and very cool. And then every season after that, they tried to like explain why things were the way they were.
That's too
And
bad.
you gotta know the balance of how much to explain. Rupert Grint was so good in it though. I also watched Knock at the Cabin this year, and he was in that.
Yes,
And
yeah,
he is like such a good horror actor.
he is. Yeah. How did you like that movie? Knock at the Cabin? Not so much.
All of the actors were really good in it.
Yeah.
I really liked the book, and I felt like it was a cop out to be like, the apocalypse was real, guys. They did it. Like,
Yeah.
when
I
the book did. Spoilers for the book. Take out your headphones if you don't want to hear. But in the book, it leaves it open, so they never find out if the choice that they make at the end of it prevents the apocalypse or guarantees that it's going to happen. No.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They killed a different character too at the end of the movie than they did at the end of the book.
I heard that. I watched a bunch of reviews afterwards. So I was like, something felt really wrong about the ending, but I can't put my finger on it. So if that happens to me, I always like look up other people's reviews of it. So I can be like, that's what it is. And I spoiled myself with the book, but I still might read it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the book. I didn't hate that they chose to kill a different character. I mostly just hated that they decided to make it unambiguously the apocalypse.
Right.
I also hate that they tried to pretend like Paul didn't write that book. They kept pitching it as an M. Night Shyamalan written film.
Yeah, what? I didn't know they were allowed to do that, to be honest.
They even in the opening credits, his name flashes for like less time than other people's.
It's not okay.
But the actors were great. They did a good job.
Yeah, I really like what's his name? Baptiste. What's his first name?
Dave
Bautista.
Batista, thank you. Yeah, I really like him.
He was so good.
And in Glass Onion too. He's really good in that.
That was fun.
Yeah. I'm ready for him to be in a rom-com now.
Yes.
Give him a rom-com next.
That would be very cute.
Did anyone else watch The Resort on, I think it's Peacock?
No.
No.
Oh.
Really good. It had Chidi from The Good Place.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like it kind of felt like a mashup almost of like White Lotus and like Lost, where it was like they're at this like all-inclusive resort and like they're trying to like solve the mystery of something, you know? But like it's like this like couple, but it's like more focused on like this couple that's celebrating their anniversary and like the marriage isn't doing great. And I think they find like an old phone or something, or the wife finds an old phone and she's trying to figure out like where it came from. Anyway, and it like unfolds this whole mystery of something that happened like 30 years before. And but yeah, it's got like this like kind of like weird, like slightly supernatural element to it that reminded me of like Lost. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool.
That was on Peacock, you said? Okay.
I'm just looking over Apple Plus shows because they tend to be my favorites. Has anyone tried the Strange Planet show? I'm so curious. I forgot it was a thing.
No.
I assume it's just animated Strange Planet aliens making general statements about life.
I did watch the Disney Strange World movie this year, and I really loved that.
So
Kelly, when you started saying Strange Planet, I was like, strange. I saw something strange.
I saw something strange.
It was Outer Worlds, I think. Is that what it was called, or is that something different?
That's a
Outer Worlds is a
What was Outer Worlds?
video game too.
Yeah, I think I wrote it down wrong. It was Strange Worlds, yeah. I just got titles mixed up when I wrote that one down.
Also did lessons in chemistry on Apple
Ooh.
Plus, which was fun. Never read the book, but I enjoyed the show.
On my list to watch.
Ted Lasso finished this year.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
I watched the last little bit of that. So good.
I wish every episode had been half as long as it was. They did not need those episodes to be movie length.
I didn't mind. I'm happy to just spend more time in a happy place.
I'm the same way.
I have a lot of feelings about Ted Lasso.
Also on Apple TV, I just finished the first season of The Buccaneers because it just ended this past week. And it's very silly and not very well written sometimes, but I watched the entire season every week. I was excited for the new episode. Lots of drama. It was really fun. It was definitely, I feel like it like kind of fills the gap in like waiting for Bridgerton, if you're into that.
Gonna
But
be
it
a
had
while.
some of the,
Because we're not getting Bridgerton for forever, right?
like May, yeah.
Yeah.
So it had that kind of like anachronistic period piece element to it. But I also felt like it almost had some of the like drama levels, not quite as extreme, but like some of the drama of like shows like Rain, where like there's like a lot more
Stakes.
stuff happening, than happens in
Oh.
Bridgerton. But yeah, it was definitely kept me hooked, and I'm excited for season 2. I want to see what happens. There's a love triangle that I feel very complicated or conflicted with. So yeah.
I love a love triangle.
I'm definitely leaning more in one direction at this point, but like midway through season 1, you're like, I don't know, I like them both. I still think they should be a throuple, but you know.
You're
There's not a
poly.
lot of networks I will trust right now to like have a cliffhanger and know they're not going to just cancel it before something happens. So Apple is still hanging
More
on,
impressed.
but
One of the few. One of the only.
Netflix does not have any of my trust anymore.
No.
None whatsoever.
No.
Valerie did mention they're supposed to be doing a Murderbot adaptation on Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so Murderbot is obviously fairly wildly popular. Was it self-published at first? I feel like I've heard something about that.
know.
No? Okay.
No idea.
Maybe that's not correct.
Didn't they cast like a Skarsgård as Murderbot? I
Yeah.
saw people having
Alexander.
feelings about that online.
Yeah.
don't
The
know
other people they
anything about
suggested, like non-binary actors, I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. To have
Yeah.
a non-binary character or actor portraying.
Is it going to be, I assume, a voice actor, or does Murderbot look like human?
Murderbot looks like human.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Need to read that.
And Ingrid said that I lost her when I compared The Resort to Lost because she'll never go back there again, which that's a whole different conversation where I could
We
defend
will
Lost right
fight
now.
you. Yes. on another time.
I will just defend The Resort and say it's only one season. So
Okay.
so it
We don't
doesn't
wanna-
go like into all the long time stuff of Lost. It's just like if Lost was just a single season.
Don't worry, Anne Griswold. I will be on your side if we have to fight Emma and Megan about Lost.
And it's
I
not
am
nearly
really-
as like sci-fi as Lost.
I'm really good in a slap fight.
We will triumph.
No, nuh-uh.
I also saw Megan this year, which was very fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was this year?
Yeah. I
Wow.
saw it on the 19th. It might have come out a little earlier, but I think I saw this one relatively close to it coming out because I saw it in theaters. So it might have been a Christmas movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Had the
was-
great opportunity of going to the ticket desk to purchase my ticket, and the person checking me out going, "Oh, what's your name?" as he's handing me the ticket, and I had to just be like, "It's Megan." Yes, just let me go to my theater, please.
No comment on that.
Yeah.
Also, what kind of ticket guy asked you your name? What movie theater experience are you having?
I have this like theater that I go to that it's like a pretty nice theater, but it's not huge. And I really like to go during the day when I know there's not going to be anyone there. And it is another world when you go to the movies in the middle of a work day. Like everyone's talking to you, they're chatting. They're like, "Do you want me to walk over to the popcorn with you and show you how it works?" Like, it is
so
wild.
Cute. I want to do that. Another world. Actually, I don't want to talk to people. No, never mind. If I
don't go often, so it's very like, oh, I'm at the cinema. I'm being treated.
So bougie.
I always go like by myself too, and the tickets are cheaper because it's midday. Although I have requested time off of work to be there. I love it.
Hell yeah.
My goal for next year: do that more. I want to do that once a month.
Nice.
Get one of those little movie passes where you pay like $12, and then you can go every month.
Misty Kate says Scream 6 was horribly written. Wes
Oh,
is spinning in his
no.
grave. I saw Scream 6.5 Degree, but I still enjoy it for what it is. A stupid, cheesy horror movie. I'm always going to enjoy it if it's in a theater experience.
I saw Dungeons and Dragons in theaters this year.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that
Everything I
one in
wanted it to
theaters,
be.
but it was so good.
It was so good. I think I died laughing when it was, what was the guy who was like casting an illusion or something and like short circuiting or something like that. Yeah, like I think I was like wheezing. Like that's how hard I was laughing. Best part. Oh, I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, I've seen it twice this year.
Yeah.
Once in
Really
theaters
good.
and another time on an airplane.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Has anyone seen Wish yet? I haven't gone yet.
No.
I just saw it. It's so cute.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
It's genuinely worth going to in theaters. I took my kid to see it, and it was the first movie he's ever sat through without being like,
Aw.
usually the candy runs out and the popcorn runs out, and he's like, I'm bored, let's go home. Like, he made me go home in the middle of the newest Spider-Man movie. And I was like, way more into it than him. And
I'm having a good time.
I want to stay. This is so good. But he didn't say a word through the entire Wish movie.
Aw.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed it too. It was
Okay.
really well done. Yeah.
I wasn't sure what to think because I've seen people being pretty critical of it online.
The clips they released have been
But
bad.
I saw people saying the same things about Elemental and talking about how it was going to be so bad, and I really liked it, and my kid loved it.
Yeah. I feel like they like have chosen some very poor clips to release as early clips because like the clips of songs they released, it's like
Yeah.
I think I think I didn't enjoy. There were some of the songs that were fun, but the songs were a lot more like not downer when I'm thinking, but like there were a lot slower songs. Like I wish they had been. I do wish the songs had been more fun.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but like
yeah,
I wasn't really there for the songs. Like we just got through them, and then like the actual everything else was cute and fun, right? Like no one's gonna be running. Yeah, no one's gonna be running around singing the songs like they did for Frozen, but
even like
the movie
Encanto,
or Encanto, but the movie itself was good.
Yeah, I think the music feels like they're trying to still do Lin-Manuel Miranda style without Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Sounds like someone trying to copy his style.
Yeah, no, not gonna.
I wish they'd do more of that. Just like find a songwriter. Like Phil Collins hasn't made one in a long time. That worked out really well. Just like give
Phil.
I just wish that they had done like more fun songs, like more upbeat songs, more fun songs. I know you always have to have this is my goal and motivation song, and it's usually sad because they don't have what they want yet. I get that. I want this song. Yeah, I get that. But a lot of the songs weren't fun. Like it was.
You think in the age of TikTok, they like wouldn't release movies until they had catchy songs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, they just weren't, they weren't fun. They were sad, or like, I don't know, the bad guy sang a song and it was mostly angry. And I was just like, these are not great. And then there was a few kids around us that the person would start singing and they'd be like, so I knew the kids weren't enjoying it either. They were like,
That's
we
so
like the
funny.
movie. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
Missy Kate pointed out this was also the year of Barbie.
Yeah.
Which-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The Barbie Eisenhower.
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer. Yeah,
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Yes, I did see both of those movies. Yeah.
I have not seen Oppenheimer.
I just saw Barbie.
No, I will not be seeing Oppenheimer, but I'm happy for the fandom.
Yeah.
I had to trade Oppenheimer to make my husband go see Barbie. So
Barbie was another request off in the middle of the day for work and go see it by myself. But it was, I liked the movie enough. It was fun. I really liked seeing it in a theater with people because I went weeks after it came out, but the theater was still like full of people. There was a woman with an infant next to me. And just like, I think the infant, like it must have been 2 weeks old. Like I think the baby was as old as the movie and she really wanted to see the movie. And so she just can't. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, you go, girl. Like, I'm so, do you need anything? I will get you anything you need right now.
My parents told me that when my older brother, their first child, was like an infant, they would just go see movies with him because he would just like sleep on them the whole time.
That baby
like,
slept almost the entire time. It woke up once and was a little fussy, but it was just like such a yay sisterhood type of move that I was like, do you need anything? Like, this does not bother me.
I could not have brought my child into the movie theater. They would have kicked me out. I did not have a movie theater child. Also, Five Nights at Freddy's that came out this year. I was stunned at the amount. I was shocked at the amount of people who brought their tiny, tiny children in.
Really?
I know that it's supposed to be like kind of like
it is popular with the youths.
It's popular with the youths, but the amount of like 6, 7, 8-year-olds. I'm like, I could not have brought my 6-year-old child to see this movie. I was horrified at parts. They were like, they're dead children, and
kids love that shit though.
We started the new Haunted Mansion movie, and my 3.5-year-old was like, "This is too scary."
Five Nights at Freddy's is like so big with the kid. I don't know anything about it, but my 5-year-old was coming home from school suddenly like giggling and going like, like, and I found out weeks later that was a Five Nights at Freddy's thing.
It is really disturbing. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, there was like 5 and 6-year-olds, and I'm just like, no, I don't. Okay, I don't understand. All right.
Yeah, we've like scaled back on Power Rangers for my nephew of just like we're getting too punchy and kicky in the real world. So like murdery shows straight out.
Right. Yeah. Like these animatronic puppets like eat people or whatever. And like, yeah, they're just like a scene with like giant gnashing teeth where a guy gets his face ripped off. And it's like, how am I bringing my 6-year-old to this? No. Insane.
Joe Catherine says all my second graders were obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Wow.
You don't understand.
Even just like because my like voluntary little sister, so she's 14, obsessed. She made my husband and I watch the movie. I would not have otherwise. And like she was like really into the lore and got excited when there were like little Easter eggs that just went right over my head. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why is this fun?
No, I don't get it either.
I know Des loves the like game and the lore. They've watched it like forever. Yeah.
I guess if you grow up playing the horrifying puppet people eating puppet game, I don't know.
I finally watched
games.
I finally watched Into the Spider-Verse. Into is the second one, right? Not Across.
I don't know.
I watched the second Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse 2
last week. Finally.
So good.
I wanted to see it in theaters, but it was just too busy when it came out and I didn't get to go. It was so good.
Yeah.
Everyone already knew it, but I always show up 2 months late and I'm like, did you guys know this one's really good?
Okay. it doesn't feel like we're past it enough now. The fact that it ended on a cliffhanger blew my mind. Of like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to wait.
Yeah, and we'll
Like,
probably
for
have to wait
real?
a while too. Like, those are
While.
not quick movies to make. Plus,
And
it
the
ended on a
writers are going to
strike.
go on strike, probably,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
haven't yet.
It ended on a cliffhanger for me because my child dragged me out of there halfway through. So
It makes you feel better. Nobody got any resolution.
okay, good. That does make me feel better.
Yeah. And I won't spoil any of the big twists because I think that's the movie you're talking about, saying you want to see Misty Kate. But there was like a twist at the end that I thought was so well done. Like, I was so like, wait, this seems wrong. Like, wait, what's going on here? Wait, why is this happening? And then like realizing just a few seconds before, like, it was,
See, I guessed
love
that one
when writing
early,
is that
and like
tight.
I've noticed now when I guess at twists, I'm like, oh, I don't even know if Emma would get that one. You always would, but that is like my bar for like, oh, I did good. I saw something coming.
If Emma saw it coming.
I guessed
Yeah.
much
Emma
quicker
always sees things
than
coming.
my husband did. I was like,
Mm.
oh, is this what's happening? And
Yeah.
he was like, what? I was like,
I don't even remember because I saw it, in theaters when it came out. I don't even remember how, like, when I figured it out, but it was such a good twist, though. I feel like it was maybe
Yeah.
probably about midway through the movie or something, but yeah.
I clearly didn't get there, so no spoilers.
yeah, it was really, really good.
I saw the Paw Patrol movie in theaters.
Oh,
Highlight of the
yeah.
year.
I did
Fine
not have to see the
cinema.
Paw Patrol movie.
Highlight of your
That's
year.
fair.
It was my kid's first movie in theaters, which was very fun.
Aw. Did he stay through the whole thing?
He did. He sat in my
so
lap for the
jealous.
entire thing.
so
I don't know
jealous.
why I have to pay for a seat for him if he's just going to sit in my seat the whole time. But yeah.
I believe my nephew also sat through the whole thing. For more age comparable.
What's wrong with my child? Why is he like this?
You didn't buy enough snacks.
No, clearly not. Literally, he will need snacks through the whole movie if he's going to stay. It's just a
Mm.
constant supply of sugar.
I think Spider-Verse, it was like a little older. So like my
Yeah.
kid had to watch it in 2 sittings. We did
Yeah.
it like one day and he was excited the next day to watch the rest of it. But we had to do that one in 2 sittings.
I did manage to take my 2.5-year-old niece to the Eras Tour movie. And she napped through the first, I think Evermore is the quieter. So she was asleep and then like got up and danced with a bunch of other kids. And then maybe
Aw.
we left around midnight. So
That's cute.
Nice. There's one other one. Oh, Nicole mentioned The Little Mermaid, which was so good. I really liked The Little Mermaid.
I haven't seen it yet.
No,
It was, I really enjoyed it. I felt like they added some interesting dimensions and like played a bit more with the fact that like, no, this song is like, it's a siren thing, folks. And you know, like they all do, just adding a little more autonomy to what's going on. And they gave Eric more of a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the original, I love the original. I loved Eric, obviously, but I feel like he has like goals in the new one and stuff, which was like, wow.
I do have questions about the like social political structure of the island, but because it's all like European architecture, European clothing, everything. But it's an island in the Caribbean, and the king and queen are black. So I'm like, were they ruled by Europeans at one point, and the island back over. I have questions.
Think about a bit more kid-friendly movies. One I wanted to see and didn't was Nimona. I never got around to it.
I freaking loved
Very
Nimona.
good.
As
Very
did my 5-year-old who loved it so much that I bought him the graphic novel and thought this is way over his head, but he'll like the pictures because it's Nimona. He sat through that entire graphic novel. He read the whole thing, like hundreds of pages. He loved it.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Yeah. And Eugene Lee Yang is Golden Loin in it.
What streaming platform is that on? Is it on one?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to.
It was really, really good. I liked it a lot.
I
It's
also
quite different from the book. But
Oh, okay. I also really want to watch the Scott Pilgrim, the new cartoon one or the new anime one.
Oh, I heard that's really good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's on Netflix as well.
We are a good chunk over an hour.
Look at that. Once we start
We're
talking about
losing Erin.
cheating, the time flew.
Great.
One final question, just because I want to do it more in next year. Briefly, having mentioned the Eras Tour movie, Megan, Leah, Kyra, and I got into a music chat, I think post chat last week.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, we should talk about this more. So did anyone have any standout music from the year?
Ooh, yes. I did. Hang on.
I discovered the Crane Wives, and I like their music a lot.
I very much want to check them out.
Good question.
I will just go ahead and recommend Noah Kahn's 6th season album to anybody who hasn't heard that recommended from me
You,
yet.
you
It's
like
my
him?
favorite
Do you
of
like his music, Kelly? I'm not sure. Are you a fan?
It was a very good year to be a fan.
This year I got pretty into Magnolia Park. They're a pop punk band and they're so good. I really loved them. And Maisie Peters also released The Good Witch.
That was a lot of fun too.
It was really good.
Hmm.
Those are my two. Wasn't expecting, and then they came into my life and I loved them.
I think that was Hosier for me this year. I hadn't loved the first album I would listen to, and then Megan's Love was like, oh, fine, I'll give it another try. And I'm so glad I did.
Yay.
Yeah, I love Unreal on Earth. It's really good.
I'm
Rachel's
like
a big fan as well.
Mhm.
I've been really obsessed with, I hate saying the name, but it's Kaveen Herbie. Have you guys heard of her before? I just call her
Mhm.
Queen Herbie, but yeah, kind of, it definitely pop. But a lot of like girl power songs and stuff. I really like her.
Yeah, as you were starting to say, I'm like, I have no idea what to expect. What is Erin's taste in music?
It's kind of all over the place, but yeah, that's just like something to listen to while I'm like cleaning the kitchen and stuff. I have like entirely different playlists for like actual like book writing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My book writing music is much different than my day to day.
Very different. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I still listen to like Two Steps from Hell and stuff. If I'm writing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about them in a long time.
They're so good. Epic.
Carly Rae Jepsen released like the companion to The Loneliest Time this year, The Loveliest Time. It was really good. I do like The Loneliest Time better, but it was cool to see someone do like 2 companion albums.
I also listened to Ethel Cain's The Preacher's Daughter for the first
Oh,
time this year. That was my first album of the year, and I loved it.
Forgot about that album. I listened to it, like at the beginning of the year.
Valerie mentions Neoni. They also on my playlist a lot.
Mm.
Let's see.
Just adding more things to all the stuff
Yes,
I just listened to.
my to list.
What else is on there?
I also randomly, like not new music, got into Fleetwood Mac this year. It was like, especially in the fall, like I feel like Fleetwood Mac is like the vibe for fall, and so I just like listened to them a lot during that time of year.
This is probably obvious, but Hayley Kiyoko
Mm.
is on all my playlists. Halsey, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
I got really big into Muna this year too. I love them. I also found this back to pop punk, this band Honey Revenge. It's like fun, girly pop punk. It was great.
Yeah, God, I have so much Neoni on here. That's funny when Valerie said that.
Alrighty. I think that brings us to the end of the year. Thank you so much to all of you for all of the things. It's been a super fun year. Expect probably more of the same chaotic. We'll just see what happens in 2024. But it's working so far. It's
We'll
always a
be
good time.
back on the 7th of January, I believe it is.
Wonderful.
Is
It
the
will be
7th
one of
or the
our
8th? 7th.
usual beginning of year chats.
Goal party.
Goal party.
Yeah.
We
Woo!
wanted to do it sooner and purposely made ourselves wait because we knew we'd want to do it in January. So
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we will see you all then. Have a wonderful holiday while we're on hiatus, and we'll see you all in 2024.